This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you in part by Xero. Xero is a powerful cloud accounting software that improves efficiencies across your practice. With all client data stored on a single unified ledger, you and your clients can easily access and collaborate on the same set of books. Xero's advisor tools and automation solutions reduce time-consuming manual tasks and put data entry on autopilot. Work faster and more efficiently than ever before with Xero. Visit xero.com/accounting insiders to learn more.
So James, we're here today to talk a little about AI, and some of the questions that I specifically had relate to how Xero's using AI and where you see that manifesting itself beyond what they've already implemented or started to implement at this conference.
Yeah, I mean, AI is a fascinating area because it's so broad. It's something where I think across the world, it feels like for some people there's been a bit of an awakening of AI of recent, where people are like, oh, this is AI. I'm now interacting with it in a more obvious way. But it's been around, for decades, artificial intelligence, first theorized in the 1950s. And its use in Xero, we've used it in many parts of the product and continue to do so. We're guided by a number of things when we do that. Obviously our vision and our purpose are kind of the North Star. And then we have our responsible data use commitments. And then between those two things, we map out our strategy. And our strategy for the use of AI is really threefold. It's how can we automate and remove the toil of some of the tasks that people have to undertake day to day.
The mundane crap, I call it.
That's another way of phrasing it. I coming from a sort of engineering architecture background, would always have these tasks, these toil tasks is the word we would use. And how do you remove the burden of those from people? The second area then is providing the right insights, the insightful aspect of our vision. And then the third aspect is,
and of course, we love that word, insightful.
Absolutely, right. And that's the value. That's the value that a lot of times small businesses are really seeking from their accountant and bookkeeper partners. And then the third aspect is surfacing those on the surfaces that make the most sense at the right time. And that's some of the stuff that we've been talking about, obviously, at Xerocon with Jax, Just Ask Xero, because a conversational interface opens up a whole nother level of innovation, because you can now go where conversations are taking place. So if they're taking place in email or SMS, text message, or WhatsApp, then let's go there. Let's have a conversation there. So that's kind of how we're thinking about a technology or a group of technologies like AI, and putting it all through the product where it makes sense, using the right kind of AI in line with that strategy.
So obviously, as you said, Xero's been using a variety of AI over the years. But with the Jax technology coming on board, how do you see the ability of Xero to support that if it's rapidly adopted by a majority of your users? I mean, AI requires a lot of computing power.
Yeah, this is where we have our partners. We have the people and the organizations that we connect with to use some of the capabilities that they have, and then augment those and tailor those and customize them to our needs. But part of the benefit of being in the cloud is the ability to scale up as needed for the demands that we have that come to us. So it's very much a matter of leveraging the cloud in the right ways, and then bringing what we need on top of that. Yeah.
Okay. And besides just recommending Xero as the AI solution, your accountant partners are sometimes asked by their clients to recommend various AI solutions or to get involved in how to build or design AI for their specific needs. And would you care to address that?
Yeah, it's a big question. I mean, when accountants and bookkeepers are providing advice, so I guess sometimes that advice goes into all sorts of fields and domains. I know a number of accountants who I've been talking to who the kind of advisory services they're providing is, is life coaching. It's it's not about necessarily directly about the accounts, but that's because they're just a trusted partner. So small businesses are coming to them with all sorts of questions, and you can absolutely see that some of those questions are, how should I be using AI in my business, or what about some of these newer tools that people have been talking about? Where should I deploy those, or should I deploy those? If I was providing my own, I don't know if I'd say it's advice, but my take on that would be, it's important for accountants and bookkeepers to be keeping up with where these technologies are and how they're developing. And I think Xero has an important role to play in helping accountants and bookkeepers understand this technology and understand where it's heading. But beyond that and into the practical realities for their small business clients, it's an element of understanding the tech, but it's also about understanding the problem. What's the challenges that those clients are trying to address? And this is where some of what I was talking about yesterday about technology being a catalyst for innovation. What is the opportunity that's unlocked by this technology, and how does that then deploy? So is it process change that maybe can help? Is it changing some of the customer engagement? Is it changing some of the channels that they're in? That becomes very specific to the individual client. And so it's an opportunity for accountants and bookkeepers to explore the challenges with their clients. And then I think it's about safe experimentation. You don't go straight in with sensitive customer data being put into some of these tools. Instead, it's a matter of using the tools wisely and testing some of your own hypotheses and seeing where the limits might be, and then gradually, I think, iterating towards solving some of those problems in a different way.
I think so, because I think one of the questions that advisors will be asked probably most frequently is, how reliable is the AI solution, regardless of what AI solution it is, and how they answer that reliability question.
And I think a big thing there comes down to the different tools, the different capabilities have different levels of accuracy, different levels of reliability, depending on how they are grounded and how they are guardrailed, can make a big difference. So there's also the challenge around, I like to point out that a lot of these models aren't accountable for what they say. They're calculating or providing a probabilistic determination of what they should say next, but they don't really know that what they're saying is correct or not. Now, there's a lot of progress being made around providing citations and being able to say, this is, showing my working on this answer. But who's more accountable than your accountant? Like, that's a person who I can turn to for accountability. And I think that the contrast between those two things, that fear of over here is something that maybe isn't always, accurate or responsive. How do I then channel that towards and in partnership with someone that I do know I can trust and I can hold accountable? And so in the case of Xero, we very much think about the tools being constrained towards the things that we can rely on, that we can have high accuracy, and not turning to Jax to ask for cooking recipes, for example.
Right. Well, I want to thank you for your input today and appreciate this opportunity to visit with you.
My pleasure. Thanks very much for having me on.
All right.